I never expected the Sneaker Doc to become what it is today. I think for myself, at the time with my current situation when I started the brand, I just wanted to prove to people that I could do something, you know, both special and also creative with myself, and that I could truly achieve something. I think at the time I'd just been fired for the 5th time, and on this occasion it was actually for a company that I loved working for. It was one of the UK's fastest growing brands, and it was the first time that I truly kind of felt comfortable within a position, not something that I was doing for money. To this day, I still remember that point when I sat in that boardroom and I got told, you know, James, it's time. And I sat there and I remember asking them and pleading them to say, like, you know, please, can I just stay? I love this brand so much. And at the time I'd even said, like, look, you know, I'll take a pay cut, I'll go back to doing my old job. And they just didn't have any of it. And I think that kind of broke me down so much and put me into such a vulnerable position. And I think that's where the fire started in me. I think after that situation, I just wanted to prove to myself that, you know, I could achieve something. And I kind of held myself to 2 disciplines. The fact that I could bounce back from anything, and the fact that I'd never settle for average. So it all started when one of my best mates, Charles, looked at my trainers one day and she said, James, how are they so clean? And it just been something, you know, that was always so natural to me. And after hearing that, she basically said, you know, well, you know, I paid to do it. And in that moment, that's when a light bulb went off in my head. And I thought, you know what, this is the service that I could turn into a brand. My mind started going. I started talking to a couple of friends about it and they gave me their trainers. So I went away, started cleaning, and it was the reaction that, you know, I saw when I gave them their trainers back that kind of truly kind of modeled the next year for the brand. So at that moment when I had that vision, I kind of knew that I had to put it into action. So, you know, my mind started ticking. I started thinking, how could I bring this to life? And the first thing that I came up with was the name. And it was at that moment when I thought of the Sneaker Doc that I just knew that it was going to be this massive brand. That's when I could see it, you know, not just being someone's cleaning service, it was going to be so much more. So I started going on, you know, websites like Fiverr and Wix. I got the first logo made up, and that's when, you know, I was ready to launch on Instagram. I posted a photo of one of my best mates' trainers that I cleaned, and from there it just snowballed. At the time I thought, you know, I might get 6 pairs in a week. You know, I could buy myself a nice t-shirt, but within the first week there was actually 30 pairs booked in. And, you know, that was the start of the Sneaker Doc, and from there it's just been a massive journey. This was for the first 8 months of the business. This is where everything happened, and it happened so quickly. I remember telling my mom, and she was like, oh, it's fine, you can use the sink. And we started over in the kitchen. And every single day, like, I used to have like my KRK speakers set up here. I'd have like all of the trainers lined up here, on there, and I just used to clean at this sink here. And then slowly it just started to take over. And we went from, you know, filling this space to then my mom would come home from work and she'd be like, oh, right, like, you're on the dining table. Very quickly filled that up, moved over into the living area. I'm quite thankful that my mom and my stepdad at the time put up with it. You know, I know it annoyed them, but I think they can see the greater picture. And, you know, without this, the Sneaker Doc wouldn't be where it was. So to kind of come back now after a year and a half, 2 years maybe, it's insane to kind of actually look back and reflect. So for myself, a game-changing moment within the journey over the past 3 years has been the team coming on board. The Sneaker Doc grew quick, almost kind of at a pace that just couldn't be controlled. And although my work ethic it's unmatched, there's only so many 18-hour days that you can do, and often you can go faster alone, but you can go further together. Do you know what it was like? You got to a point where it was just yourself, and like, I've always had this belief that I could turn the brand into something so amazing. But when you're spending 18 hours a day in a unit alone, I don't think you realise kind of how much solitude and how that can kind of wear down on you. And I think the biggest thing for me that's changed since having the team on board is that there's now, over 4 of us that have that same passion and drive to kind of grow the brand and to truly push sneaker care into a place that it's never been before. 2021 for myself has been a year of kind of making things right, putting the right foundations in place, bringing the team on board, and truly transitioning the brand from just being a service-based business to also being a product-based business, so that going into 2022, we can truly enter the market with momentum, drive to be the best sneaker care brand in the world.